All right. What to say? So lately I've been feeling kind of creatively unfulfilled, but at the same time, I've kind of been unable to bring myself to do anything creative. I work in the film industry. I'm a freelance gaffer, creative lighting professional. It is creatively adjacent, but at the end of the day, I have a lot more in common with like a blue collar construction worker than with some sort of artiste. But also my industry here in LA is super slow right now. So I've had a lot of free time that I could be using to actually do creative endeavors, but I've struggled to actually bring myself to do it. So today I decided to just kind of bite the bullet, if you will, and do something creative, force myself to do something creative. I recently ordered a cheap $20-some easel, and I decided I was going to paint something. I haven't painted on canvas in probably 10 or 11 years. So this is not normal for me. It's not something I do all the time. But I had all these paint testers, like sample testers from Sherwin-Williams and from Benjamin Moore, because we were testing paint to paint some walls blue, and also this cabinet behind me we painted blue. So I had all these extra testers all in blue, and I thought maybe I could make something cool and monochromatic with that. All right, we're started. It's been about 10 years since I painted anything on canvas. So doing this project has kind of made me think about what it means to be an artist, because I've never really identified with the word artist. I do a lot of artistic and creative stuff. You know, I take a lot of pictures. I have a camera collection, but I don't really see myself as a photographer. I work in the film industry, and my ultimate creative aspiration is to be a cinematographer, but I don't call myself a cinematographer now. I play the banjo, which is probably how most of you know me, but I wouldn't call myself a musician necessarily. I'm not really a performer. I kind of just play the banjo, and you guys happen to witness it. As a kid in middle school and high school especially, I was always really good at drawing. Maybe not the best at drawing, but I was really good at it, and I did it a lot. I was always kind of the artsy kid, but I never excelled at any of that art. And so I think maybe that has prevented me from seeing myself as an artist. So this painting is kind of just another line item in the long list of random creative stuff I've done. But am I a painter? I don't really understand why I have this self-imposed kind of barrier to entry when it comes to art and creative works. I always find a reason not to do it, even though I'm constantly wishing that I was doing it. And maybe it's the fact that I don't really have anything I want to say, although you could argue that this video is me putting my commentary on the art. But you know, I'm not one to make a political statement with art. And so therefore, like, am I an artist or am I a decorator? You know, it doesn't really say anything. So is it art or is it just a piece of decor? But ultimately, I think that none of that really matters. You know, I felt like I needed to make some art, and this is what I made. And so therefore it's art. And I do want to be clear that painting this, while I had a good time and it only took me a day, which was awesome, because if it took me more than one day, I probably was going to leave it sit for days on end and not finish it. But I will say that this didn't cure me of that weird underlying creative need, yet disinterest in being creative that I still experience. Like, it's still there. I feel like lately banjo has been kind of my most creative outlet, but at the same time, there's so much technical skill needed there that it feels less like pure creativity and more like a technical chore to practice and everything. And I love the banjo, but it's not the same as like a physical, finite, tangible, finished product, I guess. Because I don't really do original music. That's never really interested me. I don't know. So in this video, I didn't use any lighting, which I have a fleet of lights at my disposal. But setting up the lights, first of all, going to my truck and picking up the lights and then setting them up and moving them around for every shot just felt like another hurdle to overcome. And if I wanted to get this done, and I actually wanted to do it, I felt like I needed to just do it. Otherwise, I would find reasons to slow up the process, like setting up the lights and stuff. And then I definitely would have taken more than one day in painting this painting. So I'm glad I didn't. I hope it looks okay. Setting up the cameras was already a chore enough. So hopefully it turned out. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Some of you might know me from either my Twitch and YouTube lives or my TikTok lives. I've kind of realized that I use those as a quick fix of dopamine to kind of trick myself into thinking that I'm being creative or productive. I have this constant need to be productive and or creative. And I feel like the lives, the TikTok lives and stuff, it's such an immediate, easy way to feel that. And in feeling that so quickly and easily, I think it kind of prevents me from trying to do these other things. Again, for some reason, starting is so hard for me. Last week, Jim Pankey on TikTok reposted a video that he had posted a couple years ago about how he made a flute out of bamboo. And I had literally just that day cut down a bunch of bamboo in my yard. And so I decided I would give it a try. And then I proceeded to spend like 5 hours working on this flute. I couldn't get them to work. I made like 4 or 5 flutes, could not get it to work. I did some more research and I figured out that I may have been doing one step wrong and I need to look into it again and do it again. But I have not been able to bring myself to go out into the garage and start again, because last time it was 5 hours and a failure. And I think that there's something there. There's some reason why maybe I just don't want to fail again. Although I'm not really hard on myself for failing, but it was just a frustrating process that didn't have fulfillment at the end. I didn't feel creatively fulfilled. So maybe that's it. Maybe I think I need to work on my long-term creative endeavors and not rely on the immediate success feeling, which I got the immediate success feeling from this painting because I did it in a day and it turned out pretty good. So maybe I'm hurting myself by doing this creative exercise. Who knows? But I'm learning, I'm learning about myself. So shit, I just ripped on the canvas. The need for instant gratification is definitely a problem. I co-host a podcast, the Light Beer Podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Light Beer Podcast, the podcast where 2 lighting professionals drink beer and talk about lighting. My name is Zach.
I'm Zach.
And I'm the main editor on that podcast. And it is like pulling my own teeth trying to get me to sit down and edit that thing. And I think it's because A, it takes so long that it's not instant gratification. And B, we don't actually get that much response on it. It's not a successful podcast, but we're building, so we're trying to build it. We don't get a lot of positive feedback from it. Therefore, there really isn't that feeling of success even after I do it. And I don't normally need outward success. I don't need other people to tell me that what I did was good. Again, like this painting, I feel really good about it and I haven't shown it to anybody. So I feel that internal success, and I don't really need the external, although I'm making this video, so maybe at some level I do. It's really hard to get that gratification when things take too long, and I think that's my issue. This cabinet behind me took me like 6 months to restore. I love it now. I think it's great, but man, it was tough to get me out in the garage and get me to sand it and get me to rewire the speakers in it. And it was a whole thing. And I did it and I love it now. And I do feel the gratification, but it was often a situation where it's like, I should work on that cabinet, or I could do this other task that is also productive and will take less time. And so then I would go and do that. So it's obviously something I need to work on. But overall, I'm really happy with how the painting turned out. Was a little worried as I went on. Things weren't really looking like I had in my head, but I think I was able to correct that. I was kind of proud of how it came out. I haven't painted for 10 years and I didn't really have a plan. But yeah, considering I did it in a day and I hadn't painted for 10 years and I used house paint, which was new to me, I think it turned out really good. Okay, that's a cut. So I guess I would say if you're struggling creatively, I don't really have much advice other than you just got to do something. I don't know. I really enjoyed this project and I hope I can bring myself to do something else. It helped that I had the image of the banjo in my head already. I kind of knew what I wanted to make. So the creative spark was already there. But I don't know. I hope I can figure something else out. I hope I can keep this going. And I hope you guys liked witnessing me struggle to make art. I hope that this vlog style thing is okay too. I was thinking about scripting this video, and that just felt like yet another barrier that I was going to have to really like push myself through. And so I decided that it'd be better to just set up the camera and just kind of talk. I don't know that I've articulated a main thesis statement of this video or anything, but I think this is the only way I was going to get this video done. And now I have to edit it, which is going to be its own deal. So there's still barriers coming. If you're watching it, that means I did okay. I think because my industry is so slow, I've been really financially stressed. We're doing fine, but it's just on my mind all the time. Doing something like practicing the banjo sometimes feels like I'm doing that with the goal of like improving my TikTok and like possibly like making money, etc. Whereas this painting, and now granted I am filming it, but this is just how I do stuff sometimes. The filming helps me justify doing the art, which is kind of anti-creative in a sense. Because this is so different from what I normally do, it feels more creative and less like a forced content creation. It doesn't feel like I'm pushing this art with ulterior motives, you know? That being said, I was looking into it and it's pretty easy to sell prints of paintings online. So I'm gonna see if I can do that. If you guys are interested in having a print of this painting, I know a lot of you are banjo players or banjo enthusiasts in general. If you want a print, I'll put the link here. Otherwise, it'll be in my link tree. And again, I want to be clear. I did not make this art to sell it to you. Like, that was not the point. I had an image in my head. I had the artistic craving and I had to fight myself to get it done. But now the art exists and people might like it. So if some of you guys pay a little money to get it, that'll also help motivate me, for better or worse, to keep doing this kind of thing and maybe keep doing these kinds of videos and stuff. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the painting. I hope you enjoyed my rambling and my agonizing over my own creative processes. Hope to see you soon.